and this is Nelson Pereyra from bnetTV. Welcome to the 4G World in Chicago 2011. And with us from DragonWave is Greg Friesen, who's the Vice President of Product Management. How are you doing, sir?
Great, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Like I said before, you guys are the smart people behind the industry. And as always, I'm always happy to talk to you. There's a lot I can learn myself in terms of who are the players in the ecosystem.
Yeah.
And talking about the ecosystem, can you talk to us about your company and what role they play in it?
Sure, yeah, so DragonWave has been around for about 11 years. We're based out of Ottawa, and we're a microwave, packet microwave vendor. So we design high capacity packet microwave for enterprise and mobile backhaul solutions. Yeah. We focus mostly on the wireless side. So where we fit the companies we partner with are companies like Ethernet, switch, base stations. Those are the guys that we interface to. Yeah, so our goal is to provide a very high fidelity, high capacity, high performance, low latency link for those guys.
Yeah, because you drop off on those ends of your switches and equipment that gotta continue the throughput.
Yeah, cell site routers, base stations, feeding back to core switches.
Yeah, I'm big on microwave. I mean, I have even customers today that are actually transporting T1 services over microwave.
Great.
And now that's being pushed to Ethernet and high capacity throughput of over a microwave infrastructure. A lot of people always talk about what has changed between the old microwave system and the new microwave. Can you please talk to us in terms of the industry and what has changed?
Sure, yeah, there's been a lot of changes over the past few years. So the introduction of packet microwave is one. Then leveraging things in packet microwave, so adaptive modulation can now be leveraged. Before, half a T1 is as good as 0 T1s, right?
Correct.
But 100 megs versus 200 megs, 100 megs is still useful. So integrating that integrating, as you mentioned, timing technologies, so SyncE is integrated into our products. Also optimizing transport for timing, so we do packet cut through queuing to optimize for 1588 timing, so you have very low PDV and low latency. On your timing packets, doing prioritization, doing data level encryption as well as data level compression. All those are new things that have popped out in the past 3 to 4 years. In addition, Ethernet OANM, so it's not good enough to have a giggy interface, right? Not at all.
That's one of the days.
You have to have a manageable interface. So things like Y1731 are key components of all microwave systems nowadays. And then, lastly, what we've announced at this show, which is really a new, changes the paradigm in microwave. We're used to 6-foot antennas and that sort of thing. Is we've announced a product line called the Avenue, and the Avenue has 5-inch antennas, so very small antennas, can be mountable on as a 10-inch by 10-inch by 7-inch box on a lamp pole, a traffic light side of a building. And we've also announced a version of it called the Avenue Site, which has 3 microwave links, a base station, power supply, Ethernet switching, and battery backup, all in a single unit integrated.
So embedded as a one pack, just
basically
to deploy.
Taking a tower and putting it in a single box. Yeah.
I always see a company like yours as a key component of having new providers in larger cities be able to deploy quickly and fast, because not all new providers have the ability to go to a city and deploy a fiber infrastructure, because they just can't.
Yeah.
And they're not going to start ripping off the streets.
Yeah.
But you got companies like Metro PCS or those guys who actually say, well, we need to provide our services in the city.
Yeah.
The only way they can do that is through microwave architecture, and having a complete package, like you mentioned it, pretty much facilitates that deployment to be faster and accurately.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a big focus of ours, is making the product very simple and easy to install. Be able to put it up just in minutes, not days. We also, with the announcement we made today with Fiber Tower, we announced, in addition to our product, we announced a partnership with Fiber Tower. Fiber Tower has access to 24 and 39 gigahertz spectrum across North America. So that means that we can also offer you spectrum at the same time without having to wait for FCC approval. Immediately we can offer our product and spectrum at the same time to help minimize that time of engineering and the time to deployment. So we can literally go from knowing about a link to being installed in a couple days versus months and years for fiber. Yeah.
So both from the infrastructure to the spectrum,
Yeah.
you can pretty much offer LTE in any city and have it running in no time.
Absolutely, yeah. So you can get backhaul in days time, and
Yeah.
we've in fact done that. From the first we've heard of an opportunity, we've had up and running in less than a week. Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
And that's actually a great concept. I mean, how your company is actually building their portfolio around the idea that we are one key solution.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's certainly a focus for us. We believe as we do more integration in a single solution, it makes everything simpler to install, faster to deploy, reduces the installation and the maintenance costs, helps that total cost of ownership for the
let's
operator.
overhead. I mean, like you pretty much can go to any provider and say, look, you haven't covered that city, we can provide that city for you as a service.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, your future is very bright. I think it's more than that, actually. Your company is needed. It should be the standard and the de facto of how to implement wireless communication in the cities, especially in the cities. Mostly suburbs area, you just put in fiber and you call it a day.
That's right.
And the cities was always the big problem of deploying LTE solutions.
Yeah, and we think even more so now. So certainly, people always struggle even with, do I have fiber at this building?
Yes.
When you're deploying microcells on a lamp pole or a traffic light, you're not going to have fiber, right? There's not even use looking at that. So the only option is going to be a wireless option. So the obligation of the vendors is to make those wireless options deployable at the lamp pole level in a very small form factor that fits into and blends into the urban and street level environment, but still delivers the capacities that are needed even when in an urban environment, and that's really what we're focused on.
So now that your company has moved to a one key turn solution for a lot of carrier providers out there that want to deploy LTE communication, what do you see the future in terms of the industry moving forward?
Well, we see over the next few years a lot of move towards our Avenue products that we announced today. We think that microcell is in its infancy. That right now we see operators doing proof of concepts, RFIs, trying to feel it out and understand it. So we expect next year is going to be some trials, initial field office applications. And then from there, in 2013, we expect there to start to be the mass deployment. And so we expect there to be a lot of emphasis on that and momentum over the next couple of years. That's probably going to cause us to have to do iterations of our Avenue product line, targeting smaller base stations as they get released. We're going to try and optimize our product around smaller base stations as they become available, around specific city and zoning requirements, trying to continue to reduce power, trying to make it more deployable as other technologies deploy and get advanced. We want to integrate that into ours.
You started really pretty much changing my way of thinking of what a backhaul looks like.
Yes.
Now I have to start thinking that a backhaul can either be wire-based or it could be wireless-based.
Absolutely.
And having a microwave infrastructure and having a company like yours completing a one-key solution creates both a edge deployment solution, a wireless backhaul. Both either can be by fiber but most likely a wireless solution is a turnkey solution that is fast and quick.
Yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, the carriers have had that same issue. They said, well, I'm worried about microwave because I don't want to give up my quality level. I don't want to have something different with microwave than with fiber. So we've done a lot of work to integrate and bring all those features into microwave so that it looks like fiber. And that's why we do things like syncing, priority queuing, very low delay, OANM capability, so it can be managed just like any Ethernet.
Well, you're answering all the worries of the integrator out there that this is not a problem anymore.
Yeah, so they don't have to make a trade-off when they go to microwave and say, well, I go to microwave, but then I'd have to give up this. We don't want them to have to make that decision.
Well, that reminds me of one customer one time 4 or 5 years ago. He said, well, look, if I transport Ethernet over ATM, I'm giving my QoS because ATM can convert the QoS portion of the Ethernet frame. In microwave, that doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
It's totally seamless. Ethernet, all the great quality of Ethernet transport to offer QoS and everything else is transparent on the transport side.
Absolutely, and we offer prioritization over the link itself for when it's doing things like adaptive modulation. We can prioritize on 802.1p queue, MPLS, or DSCP.
Very
So
good.
we can do a full prioritization on any of the different user prioritization. So, and we think that's important. We'll also offer things like flow control in our product. TACAX, SNMP, V3 are all supported within the product as well.
Well, to finalize our conversation, I have to say, when I see a city that deploy LTE in less than a week or two, I have a funny feeling your company will be right behind them and say, "Wow, you thought we couldn't do this?"
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, yeah.
Well, Mr. Greg Friesen, thank you so much for spending time with us today.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, and this is Nelson Pereyra from bnetTV at the 4G World in Chicago. And with us was Greg Friesen from DragonWave. And I do thank you for coming and spending time with us today. Thank you.